Welcome to Kindling Conversations, the podcast where warmth meets wit, and four friends gather around the crackling fire of camaraderie to share stories, laughs, and insights. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, settle into your favorite spot, and let the glow of Kindling Conversations accompany you.
Welcome to Kindling Conversations. Does everyone have a glass of their favorite beverage?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I'd
Yep.
say so.
Got some Baja Blast.
Awesome. Well, those are the voices of my lovely co-hosts.
Thanks.
You're so
Uh,
nice.
What are your names, guys?
It's because they're not on episode 7. Ashley.
Hey, we may get some new users, our
I,
listeners.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Caleb. Sorry, I was taking a
Welcome,
sip of water.
welcome, our gracious host.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be here amongst you
The
today.
host of the week.
The host of the week. So yeah,
It's
if you
like a
can't tell,
ghost.
we are we are trying a new kind of format today, where one of us is the host, and we kind of drive the conversation forward and everything like that. And
You know what I was thinking? This is a revolutionary podcast. Because we may have video for this podcast, and we're trying a different format.
all in one episode.
Yeah. There's
That's
a lot going
freaking
on in this one
insane.
episode.
No, we have slowly, I feel like, been getting better and better as the weeks go on. I feel like
I wouldn't
each time
say
we record,
A lot of
Better,
learning.
more comfortable
more
Yeah.
well,
learning.
but I mean,
Yeah.
like,
It's weird at first talking to a mic just to you guys, because I'm used to just talking to you guys, not into a mic
Yeah.
and worry about all these other little things.
Right.
well, what's really weird for me right now in the position I'm in is normally I can actually see Ben. But the light is where Ben is. The light is where Ben is.
See, I can see
Yeah.
you, but I'm looking through your camera.
all I can see, all I can see, I can't even do that because I see your phone is locked,
Oh yeah.
like on the lock screen, so
Uh-huh.
I see the time. But I can see your glasses, and that's about it.
Oh, that's
Well,
interesting.
lucky for me and Ashley, we can see everyone from here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
if I
know.
want, if I
Lucky,
really want
lucky.
to see Caleb, I can see his glasses, his mouth, and then I can see if I look at his phone, then I can see his whole body.
Yeah.
But I can see Ashley and Kyle, no problem. So
Yeah.
Well, I think we should just get right into it today. I think the first thing we need to talk about is the fact that we got our first couple emails.
That is true.
it is
I
true.
Yeah,
think
we
it's,
did.
I think it's impressive. I mean, we're only this is episode 7.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I just looked at my watch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Episode 7.
Yeah.
No, we're on episode 7, and we've already got an email. Soon we're gonna have our own PO box.
Yeah, right.
I know, right?
Start
And you guys
receiving
start sending us money, and we'll take
So-
that.
things to hang on the wall.
I was requested not to look at the pictures or anything like that. That
Did
came
you
with
listen?
emails. Huh?
Did you listen?
To what?
No, look at the pictures.
Yeah.
No, I did not look at the pictures. I have not seen them. I have seen one just because, like, when I went to go forward them to Ashley so she could, because it was an Ashley review. This is
Yeah.
who they requested to review them.
Oh God.
When I went
Was
to go
was this
forward
requested
it-
to let her watch it on the podcast, or did?
Oh yeah, no, they want a live reaction.
Oh, they did want a live reaction. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so,
So
they get it.
I will say, Joey and Colton from the Midwest Goodbye podcast, thank you for sending in our first emails. Greatly appreciate that. And since I haven't seen them, you're going to get a live reaction from just about everybody. So, Ashley, if you'd like to do the honors,
As long as they're
cuddles up
as long as
in your
they're
lap.
appropriate, we should have them on the screen. So.
I
Yeah.
am nervous on her behalf.
I am too, honestly, because it's Joey. So, like, those are the ones I'm most nervous about.
Here we
Oh,
go.
wow.
Well, okay, whose are you opening?
Oh,
So
no.
this one is forwarded from Colton.
From Colton.
Oh
Yep.
God.
Can you describe
What
the
is
picture
it?
to us? Because I know what that one is.
Yeah.
Let me.
Yeah,
I see
so
her.
everybody will see, but who is this? Bernie Sanders?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just him with a beer gut dad bod, with his legs spread open, and then a dick that is blurred out.
Can we show
Schlong.
this?
It's blurred.
I mean, it is blurred.
It's
right?
blurred.
So
Yeah.
I mean, that looks
I
like
feel
a
like
fucking
that's-
horse cock.
Yeah, he's just
looks
I don't
slinging a
know.
schlong.
You're looking at horse dicks.
No. Have you ever? Okay, so have
That
you
seems
ever?
like
That looks like
Kale
a
just goes at home
schlong.
and looks up horse dicks.
I
I
don't
don't-
know.
Okay, I have looked up a horse dick before, but
The
but
giant horse cock.
That's why. That's why. Because I've seen those videos, and I'm like, I am curious of what a horse cock.
And the thing though
looks
is,
like.
is when it comes out, it just comes out of nowhere too. And next year there's just like
Oh, yeah.
15-foot schlongs there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, boom. You know, like
That
how
means
it
about it just
jumps
goes
all
like,
out.
you,
boom,
all you
yeah.
boys wish.
So where would you rate that cock then?
I mean,
I don't know.
whatever
I
you can
can't.
see of
I
it.
can't really see
You
it.
gotta give us something
Yeah, I
though.
mean-
we need.
Yeah,
Can you
rate
guys
the-
an
rate
outline?
the image, I guess, of all overall.
Like,
I
where
mean,
would
it
you rate
does
the
probably
size?
seem girthier than average.
Okay.
So
Do you
Average.
like girthy?
Man, Bernie Sanders is packing.
I don't know because I've never really had it.
Oh,
So,
so you're saying Kyle doesn't have girth?
no.
Yeah, that's pretty
What
much
do
you
you,
said.
I just have length.
Wow. Called out.
She, called
No,
out of the pod.
What's the point of having a big dick when only so like an average size, like humans have evolved to make an average size? You're just half of your dick, if it's too big, is not going to be used. It's not going to fit in the mouth. Only
Anally.
like porn stars can get it that far.
Just say,
Anally.
have you ever seen throat fucking?
No, it's still there's still a
Anally.
point where too much is too much. Anally, oral,
I don't know.
vaginally.
Have you ever seen some of those dildos they fit up there?
They have come to the ER with things shoved up there. but-
I don't even know if I want to know.
Yeah, we'll
honestly.
just leave it there.
But
It's surprising.
I don't.
Is it though? Like, is it truly surprising?
Some of the shit that comes out of people's orifices.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So I
We are just
have
ve-
seen like in Scrubs, there was a light bulb up somebody's butt.
Oh, I'm pretty sure
Does
that's
that
probably
happen?
happened.
It'd
Yeah, I'm
probably
sure
be
it happened.
shattered, but
I mean, people do like bottles,
No,
cucumbers.
it may not necessarily be
different things.
Well,
yeah,
They shatter.
vegetables.
If you shove like a light bulb or something in you, they shatter inside you. They just
Yeah,
put a bag
it'd
around
be
it.
shattered because the sphincter would just kind of.
Close around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it wouldn't shatter unless you do something.
Well, it wouldn't shatter,
do
but it would
it.
crush it.
No, your
Wouldn't it?
no, because it's gonna relax around it. Your
Oh.
It's
your
not that. Unless you
sphincter
like.
is not gonna
Unless
close
you like
in and
crunch
crush
it. Unless you like crush it yourself, like
Right.
squeeze.
Right.
Typically they'll put some kind of like a surgical sleeve that they do, and then they'll pull it out. They'll break it inside there to pull it out easier.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So if they get anything else podcasts, do not shove everything up there. It's not meant to be shoved up there.
Yeah, I'd say.
Unless
So-
it's an actual toy that's meant to be, but then that's your problem.
Moving on, Ashley. Should we?
To the next email.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
So this one's from Joey. And he says, "Hope you enjoy. I want feedback immediately.
Oh.
Kind regards, your big brother in the 608 podcast community, Joseph."
Thanks, Joey. Greatly appreciated. What
Oh,
is it?
no.
What is it? Oh
No
my God.
way.
That is hilarious.
that's
No way.
dedication. That's great.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
That's
That is
golden.
that's.
Was there
How
more?
would you rate the picture, Ashley?
I'm going all 10 because that's like perfect.
Joey, you got a 10.
Yeah.
That's like all American. And then there's a second one. He says, "Here's part 2 as well.
Oh my God,
Enjoy."
There's a part 2.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
Wait, Joey, is that the fucking gym? Is
That's
that
a,
literally an outlier?
that is a great view.
Oh
The
my
double chin. The
God.
double chin is really good.
Did we get permission to
The-
show those two?
The simple smile, along with it, just makes it 10 times better.
So are we rating both the 10?
Yes. Oh, I didn't even rate the
I was
other
gonna say,
one.
did we get a rate on
No,
the other
I
one?
just said it.
On the first one?
Yeah.
I would. That's a good one. If it was unblurred, it would be a 10. But because it's
Oh.
blurred, I would give it an 8.
So would you only
Ooh.
rate it a 10 because it's a dick or
No, it's a pretty funny video, like picture.
pretty funny picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
definitely
that's
not
fair.
Fair enough.
real.
It's not real, no,
I
but the
mean, that you
creativeness
know of.
That I know
behind
of,
it. But I feel like
guess.
Bernie Sanders just sits like that at his house.
With his dick
Just
out, looks
fucking
like
dick
flopped
out.
out.
Probably
Boom. Dicks out. Dicks out for Harambe.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Harambe. How do you?
Oh my
What's
God.
the? What's the?
What are you smoking a joint?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I
Yeah, what
don't
was
know.
that?
What what do they do in freaking Hunger Games?
I know, isn't it 3?
Is it 3?
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it
it's like
three?
It's
this.
3?
Yeah.
I can't see you win.
Oh my god, I was in the salute.
So it's 3. You almost
Sorry.
did
Dude,
it.
I was doing that.
Wow.
You should probably not do that.
Man, next podcast, we got to figure out how to get mine back further because you can only see my head.
Isn't that the point?
Well, you guys, you can see like, your whole body.
Yeah,
so when I
you
want
can
to do
see,
it with my
like, the
hands, I go
whole
like way
body.
up here like this.
See my hands? See my hands?
It's
My
just,
hands.
it's just Ben's like eyesing up.
And you can see like
God
What's-
damn it, you made me do a spit take.
what's that one show that's like that where it's like you just see
Yeah,
their
it's
eyes
just
on the
top
fence?
half of his
On his
fucking
fat on the
mouth.
fence.
Oh, you're talking about it was Tim Allen.
Yeah. And you can just see his
Um,
eyes on the fence all the time.
Yeah.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. That's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
His neighbor. Yeah.
You just see his eyes on the fence like this. He's just all the time.
Yeah. That's, this is exactly what this is reminiscing of. Like I can just see right here up. Like
bad-
that's all I can see.
Too bad our
from you.
viewers don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah, they will now because they can
Hold
Yeah.
on.
see.
Hold on a sec. We just lost my camera.
Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties.
We're gonna go ahead and take a break right here. Enjoy this message from our sponsor, Yelling.
Angry? Sad? Frustrated? Have you tried yelling? Yelling relieves stress, feels good, and is scary to birds. Yelling is like talking, but louder. Try yelling today.
Thank you to our sponsor, Yelling, for sponsoring.
It really worked, guys.
Why did that startle me a little bit?
I was not expecting that.
It's not a paid
It's
ad.
not a paid ad, but an advertisement.
Just like
Yes.
Trees.
Yeah.
Trees wasn't paid. Like Trees kind of was though.
Trees pays for our
Yeah, I
life.
mean trees. Just.
Yeah.
They give us life.
I just took a
Thank
tree
you,
payment.
trees. Thank you, trees. I appreciate it.
You good? Oh my god.
Oh, hang on. Caleb's dying real quick. The Grim Reaper's touching him.
My face is so washed out. We'll figure that out by next podcast. But
Come on.
oh my god,
Come on.
All of that staying in
we're raw.
raw.
You
Yeah, this
raw
is
dog
raw,
this podcast.
unedited friendship.
Mocha is so confused by all the cameras and
She
stuff.
really
right
is. She
now.
doesn't know what's
Yeah.
going on. Anyways, do you guys want to know what I picked out to talk about today?
Yeah, what's
Well,
that?
let's hear it.
Hard conversations, hard topics, just feelings, like breakups.
I don't believe in
and,
feelings.
in my position, firing people, and in Kyle's position, having to try to get somebody fired. In Ben's position, do I masturbate tonight or not?
What?
Wow.
You have that same position, so I would be
That took a
talking over
turn.
there.
Damn.
No, but those kind
Wait,
of
you
hard...
didn't say mine. Like, what's my hard conversation?
Oh, I didn't.
No.
To have with families.
Hey Kyle, I'm glad we.
Ashley, yours
second.
is why the fuck am I still with Kyle?
Okay.
Probably.
Hey,
Like
Ky-
daily.
hey Kyle, I'm glad we got you here. And we're talking about as we're on the topic of firings. We're gonna have to let you go off the podcast. We've
Yeah.
been talking about it behind your back,
Yeah.
and it's just
You're doing
Yeah.
nothing to
Yeah.
help us with the production
like
side of
Ashley's providing
podcast.
her ring light for us so she can stay.
And she tries to help with social
Technically,
media.
I provided the ring light because
No.
I purchased
You
it.
gave it as
Yeah,
a gift.
but you gave it
Once
as a
you give it
gift,
away as a
yeah.
gift, it's not yours anymore.
So
Maybe. I don't know.
Listen,
See,
Ashley at least tries to help with social media, so
Yeah.
she gets credit there. What have you done?
I go on the Facebook.
And do what?
Whenever it says we get a new view, I go on there and see. You know.
wow.
Well, there's only so much I can do.
You
I
can
mean-
post stuff.
You haven't
You
asked to
have
do
that
anything even.
access.
Honestly, I don't know how to post stuff on the Facebook.
On
like-
the Facebook.
Do I just have to
The
take it?
Facebook.
We are the same
Okay,
age, my
Grandpa.
guy. We are the
Do-
same age.
Do I just like take some of the clips from like the TikTok and post them on there?
You really can just.
You know what?
We
Maybe
have
it's
a
best.
folder.
Maybe it's best that we just let you be like a community manager in the Discord when that comes.
Yeah.
Which
Oh yeah.
I have, like, it's up. It's there. We can release it. It's just not
Set up fully.
like fully set up, but we can add channels and stuff as we go. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
so I mean,
I lost my mouse. What the heck?
Did it die?
No. Oh, there it is.
I mean,
We're good.
mice are quick. Anyways, so yeah, like hard conversations, hard topics, and I guess I want to start it off with like a question, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
It's like in the last year, in the last 365 days, so since the date of recording in 2023, what has been some like hard conversations you've had to have with somebody, or like somebody's had to have with you? And as a follow-up question to that, how did you get through it?
I got one.
All right.
Yeah.
Trying to tell the fire department that I failed the class that they paid for and are relying on me to pass so I can do more stuff for them.
Was that like an agonizing?
Oh, it was. So when I first found out I failed, I didn't want to go to the fire department for any calls. Like, I just kind of sat there like, The call came through, and at first I was like, oh, there's enough people on that call. I kept creating excuses because I knew I was going to have to face it at one point, but I didn't want to have to face that because I'm like, they're all going to be like disappointed in me. And they all give me a hard time like during the class that if I failed, all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back to a call now. So, I mean,
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, one of those flumballs.
A splooge in his throat.
What helped you get through that conversation?
I
Damn,
guess
she really needs to go.
I guess family more of because they kind of like my parents. They were kind of like, it's okay, like it happens, things happen. Like you can tell them, like I'm sure they'll be understanding. They understand. I'm sure you're not the only one who's failed before. Like my parents can help me a lot with that, and then coming to realization of, hey, there's someone else in this happened too that they also failed and had to retake the class too. So I kind of relating to other people and family being by my side.
So what you're saying is family was like an essential part to that difficult conversation and getting through that.
100% it was, yeah, because they were like, it's fine. You're not the. I'm sure you're not the only person, and like that was weird. I'm sure you're not the only person, so. Is that Ashley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she touched
I'm
it for a
I'm like
second.
sitting here trying to be all serious. Ashley just.
Because Ashley has to feel the touch to. Ashley feels like she has to touch her mic.
Yeah.
Is what I was trying to say.
But yeah, it was my family by my side helping me out, like my parents, my sister, I guess my future brother-in-law. But yeah, family was helped a lot.
What about your future best friend-in-law?
I really didn't tell you though.
Gosh.
What, that you
Not until after the fire department
I mean,
found out
that's
pretty
true.
much. So
could have told me?
I could have. You're right. I know you would have been by my side too. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's who helped me specifically. So
What about you, Kyle? You got any moments that are like from the past year that are like had to have a hard conversation, or someone had to have a hard conversation with you?
I wouldn't say it was a conversation necessarily, but it was Papa's eulogy at the
Okay.
at the cemetery up north,
it kind of was.
the veteran cemetery. I mean, it was kind of a conversation, I guess, but it was more one-sided,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That was definitely, the hardest. I mean, I didn't cry doing it.
I'm surprised.
I rushed through it.
Yeah. And
Like-
Kyle did not write anything down.
I didn't write. I didn't want to
Those
write
are the
it
best
down.
ones, though.
Yeah. Those are from the
Yeah,
heart.
but it would have took so long to write it down. Like it was more of coming off the top of my head.
Speaking from the heart, and
Right,
that's the best way to deliver something like that.
right. Um, and I definitely rushed through it, but it also had to be because they were only giving us 5 minutes to do speeches. Like the speeches only were supposed to take 5 minutes.
Like all of the speeches,
Yeah, well, yeah.
or each person's speech.
Well, it was only me that did one,
Oh,
but they wanted to keep it only to 5 minutes because they had a bunch of services lined up for that day.
Because they only do it on Saturdays. Or no,
Yeah.
they only do it on Fridays.
Yeah.
gotcha.
So like Papa's was at 12, and then the next one was like 12:20 or 12:30. So it was only enough time, for us to do that,
I don't like
and
that.
then move, and then they would move on to the next. So like that also made me feel rushed, and that I had to get it because I didn't want someone to come over and like try to stop me.
Yeah.
So like I wanted to get it out of the way.
So what'd you do? Like a minute?
No,
Oh,
it was
geez.
like he touched 2 minutes, but it was very quick. But I
Concise
mean,
and to the
he had
point.
that whole room crying
Yeah,
with what he
Yeah.
was saying.
Yeah.
I can
You
believe
know.
it.
It was hard too because like I had my dad and Nana like in the front row. So like they were like right in front of the stand where I was. So like I kept trying to avoid looking at them, especially Nana, and I was trying to look more towards like the back, like how we learn in theater to like look at like the back wall. Look over everyone's head. I was trying to do that because I knew if I saw like Nana cry, I was going to lose it. So that's what I was trying to avoid too. And then it got done, and they played taps, but the door was closed. So like it wasn't how they did it in Beloit at the funeral home, because that really got me there.
That got a lot of people.
Yeah, but I was able to hold it together there when they did it because the door was closed, and I think they did it because they did the salute,
Okay.
the 21 gun
Yeah.
salute. They did
Yeah.
that, and they closed the door, I think, to muffle the sound.
Right.
But
To be honest, taps at any funeral is so hard hitting.
oh
Dude,
yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
you
even
hear
have to be
that
at a
and-
funeral.
yeah,
Just
it's
you hear
just-
taps.
yeah, the
you're-
song in general.
You're
Mhm.
crying.
Well, because you know what it symbolizes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's a certain sound that means something very significant, a death of like somebody that served and like
Yeah.
proved their self for this country.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. know.
So
That is definitely one of the most somber moments. Is when you hear
Yeah.
taps play. I mean,
right. Yeah, I think we got casings from that one too, didn't we? I know we did in Beloit. We got like the shell casings, but I can't remember if we did
Mm-mm.
up north.
They packed Papa, or they took Papa, and
No, I'm saying the shell casings from the
no,
salute.
I mean they picked him up. I don't think we got him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
If
Um,
Nana did, then she has not shared them.
Yeah, because then the guy gave Nana the option. So it wasn't an urn, it was the box,
Yeah.
and it came in like the bag.
Mm-hmm.
The woman gave Nana the option if she wanted him to stay in the bag, and then go in the vault, and she chose to keep him in the bag. So then when they carried him out there,
Mm.
Dad and Scott went out there to make sure, like they wanted to watch them put him in there and
Mm-hmm.
right.
close it up.
Because
You
once
know.
it's closed, right?
Oh well,
Right.
Nana is gonna get put in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the next and final time that it's
Yes.
Gonna be
you
opened.
know
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because then they had like his his plaque wasn't there yet. It was like laminated paper they had,
Mm.
and then the plaque came in at a later date.
Okay.
It was there, so we stopped every time I leave to come home. I stop by there, and we stopped by in July, and it was up. The plaque was up, and I lost it there because that was the first time I'd seen the plaque.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it wasn't the paper anymore; it was the
Yeah.
actual thing. Um, you know, so that was hard too. But you know, I think we all stopped by there on the way home. I know Dad and Hunter did after hunting, and then obviously Nana. You know, she
Yeah.
puts flowers at the bottom. Um, but yeah, it's you know
Yeah, no, I
it's
hear
still
you.
hard, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
that
Slowly,
was
day by day.
yeah, you know. And
But
then it seemed like Nana was more in the Christmas spirit this year too.
dude,
You
how
know,
could you? I guess
last year was
like
hard.
after
You
a
know,
year, like I feel like holidays are just difficult.
Mhm.
right,
We're like right after you lose somebody, and then the year after,
right,
it's
because it's still you're still
difficult.
reeling from it.
Yeah, and it's just like
You know,
you know that like this holiday is gonna be different because you're not here, right? Like
right.
I don't know. The holidays are just always a tough time. I feel like when you lose somebody because they're not there and the
Well,
traditions.
they were there for so many years. You
Right, and
know,
the tradition was there, right? Like
right.
I don't know. I don't know how to. It's just one of those hard to explain, but not hard to explain type things.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like for me, I think the best way to explain it is the song "You Should Be Here."
By Cole Swindell.
But yep, by Cole
Yeah.
Swindell. Because you should be right. Like
Right.
you,
Yeah.
you should be here right now, witnessing whatever it is that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
any of the big moments in my life, or these holidays, or hell,
Well,
even if it's just to crack a beer real quick.
Luke Combs even had one on his last album. If you See Me Now, it was called.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know that one
Yeah,
is a good one too.
for sure.
You know.
Is that the one about where it's like if you go to get a drink, get one for me too? Because there's no
Oh,
beer up
that's
here.
Hardy.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Hardy's
it's Hardy.
song.
Yeah. So even Hardy has one.
Yeah, Hardy has Drink One
Mhm.
for Me.
Drink one for me. Yep.
Um,
There's a lot out there, just
Yeah.
in general. Like
Well, because it's a
it's a hard subject.
everybody's gonna go through it.
Everyone,
You-
everybody can relate to
know.
it. It's one of those songs that no matter who you
Exactly.
are, you can somehow relate to it.
Ben and I went through it early on in our life,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
now like Kyle just experienced it for the first time.
I feel
Right.
like it's easier as you're younger because you don't really understand it as much.
Yeah,
In
Ben
a way,
was pretty
yes.
young.
I feel like in a way, yes, it's easier, but in a way, no. Because when you get older, it's kind of like, I wish I could have had more time with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But
I-
Well, no matter what, it's never enough time.
yeah, I do understand
Yeah.
that. But I feel like it's as a younger kid, you get through it easier just because.
Well, and
You-
when you're a little kid, it's so irrelevant
Mm-hmm.
because you're going through so many
Yeah.
stages so quickly.
Yeah.
Well, as an adult, you're gonna hit those big moments, and you're just like,
Yeah.
the first person I want to call is you, and I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, like, when I was in, I think it was 8th grade, 7th grade, I lost my grandpa, and
8th grade is when I lost, or 7th grade. 7th grade is when I lost mine
Mhm.
too. So
yeah, and it was hard at the time, and about 6 months later, I was me again. Like
Mhm.
it was just kind of. I mean, it was weird. Whenever we went over to my grandma's house, it was weird to go over there and not have grandpa there. And it was weird in the summertime when my grandma would call us up to ask us to do yard work because
yeah.
I'd see my cousin driving the tractor that my grandpa always used. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was weird, but in tiny brain, it wasn't. It wasn't. I would say it wasn't like it kicked in, like it sunk in. Like for my
Yeah.
brothers and my cousins, they were older than me. They knew what was going on fully. I didn't really fully grasp
Mhm.
and comprehend. I knew in the moment he wasn't there, and I was at that age where like I know what's going on, but you don't fully understand it.
Mhm.
Right.
I was
Now-
I was a freshman,
Yeah,
and Ben was
7th
3
grade.
years younger than me. Was I a sophomore?
You were a sophomore, yeah, because I had
Yeah,
Miss
'cause
Sway as a
yep.
math teacher, so
So sophomore, and it was right after finals. Like we had just had finals, and then I had a late start that day. And I
Mhm.
remember waking up and I looked on Facebook, as you do, like when you first wake up, you go through things. And like I scrolled once, and like my aunt had posted something like, "Oh, we'll miss you, Dad." And I just like stopped. And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I like, go out to the kitchen and I'm like, "Mom," because she's been at the hospital with him. So like, I thought that she would come home, whatever, we would go up there. And then she's like, "Yeah." And we like broke down crying. And then she's like, "Oh, get ready for school." And I was like, "How do you go to school after that?" But
yeah.
she was trying to distract us.
I
And
rem-
because having to go through those
Mhm.
pictures for the picture board at the funeral, it was just going to kill me. And
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. I do not want to go through that,
It
but
was. I remember waking up and I woke up. My mom, I got dressed, got ready for school, and a little before I left. She didn't tell me till a little before I left. I understand why now, but she like, wait, Ben, before you go, and then she explained it to me, and I was like, oh, I mean, yes, I was only in 7th grade, so I still kind of understood it. I understood it, but it was kind of gonna hit me. And all of a sudden, during one of my classes, like one of my teachers goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." It's just I try to push it off, and she's like, "You're not as talkative. You're not answering questions as you normally do." And so yeah, that's when I told her that, and then yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. See, we knew, like, I guess we didn't know my grandpa was passing. Um, my parents did.
mhm.
They hid a lot from us.
Mhm.
Uh, a
Yeah.
parent, God bless their soul, because they will hide any hurt from their kid until it absolutely has to
Because
come out.
when I was
I
younger,
don't
I
even
didn't.
think my mom wanted
And
to tell us
No.
either.
she had to though, because
She
She
you.
had
I
to.
found out on
Yeah.
Facebook, and so she, my whole aunt situation, it was like, why would you post it before I could tell the kids?
Yeah.
Ashley had a late start. She had finals exams the day before. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't have to go in till 10:30.
And I can tell you exactly what happened. And that was like my parents knew my grandpa had pancreatic cancer, and they didn't find it until 2 weeks before he passed.
Oof.
And it was February 25th, which also happened to be at the time my best friend Autumn's birthday.
Mm.
Um, and we I hadn't said happy birthday to her because like I was gonna call her after school and wish her happy birthday then, because we had school and everything. After school, though, my parents came and picked me up, which was weird. My parents never picked us up unless we had some sort of an after-school activity or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get picked up from school and we stop. we that's a benefit and a curse to these ones, I guess.
That's what happens when you talk with your hands a lot.
Huh?
I said that's what happens when you talk
Yeah.
with your hands a
And
lot.
now our viewers will see it.
Yeah. There'll be context now.
There you go.
But we stopped at home because either my dad had to use the bathroom or pick something up. I don't know really. But my mom was crying, and I was just like, "Mom, what's wrong?" And she was like, "Nothing." And I was like, "No, something's wrong.
Right.
What's
like,
wrong?"
Like you wouldn't be crying.
And
for
like I
nothing.
was like, "I'm gonna go inside, right?" And my mom was like, "No, don't. Like, just stay in the car." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what's going on? Like, something's wrong. I can't go inside. You're crying. Dad's very not talkative, which if you know my dad, unlike my dad,
Right.
what's going on?" And that's when my mom told me, like, "Hey, Grandpa died." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then we went to the high school to pick up Forrest and Tyler. Tyler was in JROTC.
That's right.
And we went downstairs to grab Tyler. And then we went up to the theater to pick up Forrest. And Forrest was like, off having fun, having a good time with his friends and everything. And
Right.
Wallendall, the theater teacher, comes over and was like, "Mr. Dasso," to my dad. And he was like, "How you doing?" Shook his hand. And my dad was like, "I've been better. We need to pull Forrest." And this was closer to showtime. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Showtime was in like 2 or 3 weeks, so it's
Mhm.
crunch time. And Wallendale was like, do you really need to take him? And Dad was like, yeah, his grandpa passed away. And Wallendale immediately, like, it's almost like he did an about face, turned around and said, Forrest, let's go. And Forrest was like, no, like, give me a couple minutes. And Wallendale was like, no, grab your stuff and go now. And Forrest was like, okay.
Right.
Went out to the van, and that's when my parents told my brothers.
Mhm.
And then we went out to my grandparents' house, my grandma's house now, and we just sat around and we told stories and um, reminisced.
Right.
And I mean that was just a very sombering experience, I think. But nowadays, it's like at the time I wanted to like I never really thought about like having those I need advice conversations from my grandpa, right?
Yeah.
Right.
As I've grown up, I have found myself out at his grave talking to him,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
just saying like, give me some sort of a hint. Give me some sort of like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, I don't,
Right.
I don't know what to do, and stuff like that. And there's still those little hints around. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I will never forget when I went to a softball game, and I was only in like ninth or 10th grade, and I had like just
Yeah.
turned, and I swear to God, I saw my grandpa. To this day, I will tell everyone, I saw my grandpa. He was dead, but I saw him. I saw him. I know I saw him. But as soon as I took like the double take, right, I was like, it was, for anyone who can see, it was kind of like this. It was like
Right.
he was
Yeah.
just gone. He was just gone. Like it was
Yeah.
so ding 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 ding. I don't know what that was. But no, it was just so weird. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not the first time. That was the first time that happened, but it's not the only time that's happened.
Right.
In recent years and everything like that. So
Mhm.
Well, losing a person of significance, like when they were such a strong part
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
of your life, like whenever, the event happens, like you always remember where you were,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah,
Like it's just something that you don't forget.
yeah.
I
I
know.
You
know.
know, like I remember I was sleeping on the couch. I woke up early for some reason, went out and I fell asleep on the couch, and then that's when Ashley woke me up.
Yeah,
You know.
The minute my phone went off and Nana's background came up, like on the phone, I didn't want to answer it because I knew what it was.
but you had
And
to.
I had to. And
Yeah,
it was like, I answered it like I had been awake for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And all she said was Ashley. And I said, I know. I will wake Kyle up. We'll be on our way. Give us like 20 minutes. And she's like, nope, no rush. And I was like, give us 20 minutes. And it was like a 30-minute drive, but I was going to go fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
There
And
was no
on,
way Kyle was gonna drive. So
no,
No.
no,
No.
nope. And so
You've already talked.
I remember,
Ashley, you kind of already talked about that. Like when that happened, you knew you had a plan kind of set, right?
yeah.
Well,
But
I told Nana to call
having
Ashley.
to tell
Yeah.
Kyle that, like, I hung up the phone and I sat on the edge of the bed, and I could hear him breathing and like kind of snoring. And Mocha was out there like next to him on the couch sleeping, and I was like, I don't want to tell him, but I was like, I need to tell him. Like, we need to go. It's like 5 a.m. We need to go. And so I like slowly like rubbed his chest, and he's like, what? And I was like, listen. I was like, Papa passed. We have to go. And he's like, yep. And he got dressed, and I was like, he's a robot right now. There's
It's that
like
first initial
he's-
shock
yes,
of,
Yeah.
and
he's
his
just going because
his
he
mind
knows we
just
need to
went
go.
autopilot and went, okay, let's do this.
And I do think Kyle had like mentally we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Like, the
it's hard.
hospice
It doesn't matter
nurses-
how much you prepare for it. It's hard.
Yeah. And
Right.
the hospice nurses, they have kind of been like telling, Kyle's dad, Kyle's uncle, Nana,
Yeah.
like it's coming, but we don't know when yet.
Yeah.
And so she would tell me, and I mean, I was at the hospital and I saw some of the hospice nurses and stuff. And so I was like, "Oh, hey, I've seen you at the house, whatever." And they're like, "Yep, we couldn't talk about it." And so then Nana called me. I think I was down in the ER and she called me and she's like, "Oh, the hospice nurse said Thursday." And I was like, "Okay, well, we'll wait till Thursday." And he passed Thursday. He was still here. It was the week after on a Friday.
I think it was his one last joke.
Yeah.
That's what I always say, cause like he liked pulling shit on people, so like he probably heard that shit and he's like, no, I gotta stick it through just to rub it in her face, you know?
Let me stick it through
So,
another
like,
week.
Yeah. So like when it went through that day, he's probably like, "Got you, bitch." You
Yeah.
know, like
So we started driving.
Watch these other 7.
Right?
Yeah, right. Psych, I'm gonna last a whole nother week.
We started driving, and then it hit Kyle. Like
Yeah,
as
well-
soon as we got to Clinton, I like looked over and he's like silently crying,
Yeah.
and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna say anything."
Yeah.
and-
Once we got off 43, then like got on Hart Road,
Mm-hmm.
then it really
Like
hit.
that home stretch to it. And
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and even like so it's dark. It's 5 a.m.
yeah.
in December, and
In
it
Wisconsin.
it was supposed to snow, and it was
Yeah.
supposed to be like slushy and all this bad stuff. So the roads had just started getting covered,
Mhm.
and so like I'm focused on driving. Kyle's crying. I don't even think I had the radio on because I'm like, what do you play in a
No.
moment like this?
It was
We'll
there
just be
isn't-
silent.
I'll say there isn't anything
Yeah.
good to play.
So
Elevator music.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember like pulling in the driveway and like turning the car off, and Kyle's like, "I don't want to go in, but I have to." And I was like, "Yup." And it's just like this eerie, like it was like cold, eerie feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't seem real. Like I just got chills.
Well, it was so quiet,
Mm-hmm.
like walking in.
Yeah.
And there was like a very strong smell of coffee. And I just remember that it felt cold, quiet, and there was like this strong smell of coffee. And Nana's just
So it felt like a winter day in Wisconsin.
yes,
Yeah.
but like not
But-
like a pleasant one.
But tense.
Yes.
But tense. Like,
Yeah, because Nana only had like 1 or 2 lamps on in the living room and then the big kitchen one. And so it was still like dark, and you could tell like it was like a very soft moment.
Well, I was almost scared to walk in, like to walk through the kitchen. You know.
Are you good? If you would like to change subjects, we
I'll
can.
say we can switch off if you like.
Way to go, Caleb.
Sorry.
Hey, it's just a great like. Hey, this is what our podcast is about. We're not afraid to be real.
Yeah, this is real.
Like it's part of Kindling Conversations. It's conversations. This is the type of conversations that we want to have.
And this is the conversations we have.
Mm-hmm. Like we wanted this podcast to be the conversations we have on a day to day, and this is the type of conversation we have on a day to day.
No, it trying to think of the words. Oh God. Thanks, Caleb.
I'm sorry.
No, it like, like I was scared to see him.
Yeah.
Cause for like, God damn it. Are you laughing at me? um, starting to sweat now.
It's hot in here because of fire, yeah.
Oh my
What
God.
fire?
I'll be back. I'm gonna go adjust the fire.
But it was like, since he was on oxygen. So like every time we went over there, you could hear the oxygen machine. And you walked in, you couldn't hear it. So that's kind of what made it rough too, you know. But
All the things you were used to is no longer that way.
right. And then of course Nana drinks decaf coffee, so I couldn't have my caffeine.
Called out.
You know.
Like, of course.
I don't know. I must have had a couple cups. I think she had to make a second pot of coffee.
Of decaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just like, give me caffeine. give
Yeah,
me
no,
caffeine."
it was like
Shit, there's no caffeine.
it was like a line of them, just constantly getting a cup of coffee, coming to sit down,
Right.
finishing it, getting up, going to get another cup of coffee. That day, it felt like forever.
Well, because we went there, and then we were there for a couple hours until the
Well,
funeral
you
home
had to
came.
wait till 8 in the morning to call hospice,
Right.
and because like it wasn't an emergency, so
Right.
How is it not, though?
Well,
I've never really, like, understood that. Like,
so it's
Because he was comfortable and
yeah, and it wasn't like he was
he was peaceful.
yeah.
Because isn't that hospice's job to make sure they go comfortably?
They go
and
peacefully.
Yep.
Yeah.
peacefully? Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about comfort.
Mm.
right, but, like,
Well, like
But
it
if
But
it's
was,
what-
what?
they pass
So
at
so
midnight.
you,
I mean, you have to wait till 8?
yeah. I mean, you can call the hospital. There's an on-call
I mean, it's not like he's going
nurse and
anywhere.
stuff. But again,
No.
you can't do anything. So even if at midnight the nurse comes out and pronounces him dead,
Yeah.
then what?
Right.
The funeral home's not 24/7. They have their normal hours.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I don't know. The weird thing for me is just like you're sitting there with a decomposing body at that point.
It's not that quick though. Like they can be modeling, which is rigor mortis in
Right.
living body. It's called modeling. So your skin, they'll press and that indentation just stays.
Mm-hmm.
They're
'Cause-
starting to become cold
Because there's no blood.
because there's
flow.
no blood flow.
Gotcha.
So it's modeling, and I mean, this is from the experience with Kyle's grandpa. Nana had so many blankets on that man.
Yeah.
He was not gonna get cold and start like modeling and decomposing quickly. It's
Yeah.
not
Gotcha.
for the first 48 hours. You're pretty good. You're not gonna smell anything.
Oh, so I
Unless-
can kill Kyle and you won't know. till
Let's not do
later?
that because I'm not on the life insurance.
Oh, well, once you're on the life insurance, it's fair game.
Hey, don't make it look
Um,
suspicious. Like, 'cause you might have to cut this part of the podcast.
Yeah, we might want to. Yeah, I was gonna say we might want
Yeah.
to cut this out. This is evidence.
So no, I mean, they're estimating that he passed at like 3 a.m.
Right.
So from 3 to 5-ish, whenever Nana woke up and saw his chest not moving, because that's what she's been she had been watching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he finally went when she was asleep,
Jesus.
which probably was his plan, because she had been watching him like a hawk.
It's so weird to know that like a dying person,
What do you
in
think?
essence, can plan their death.
Right.
It's more spiritual.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of the body and the mind connecting together to be like they are okay. Some people hold out for certain people. Some hold out for them to leave the room. It all depends. I've seen crazy things already working at the hospital for almost a year. People wait, they hold out, they do crazy things.
That's so weird.
But it's
Yeah.
where the body and the mind spiritually come together and they are at peace and comfort.
Well, yeah, and then we had to have hospice come in,
And pronounce them.
and they had to pronounce him, and it's
Mhm.
like, we know he's gone, you know,
Yeah.
but they still had to check.
Yeah. No.
And like it was emotional for them too, because like they knew him.
I was gonna say they grew to
Mhm.
know him over the course of over a year, right?
Well, and I felt so bad for the
Yeah.
nurse too that
Was
like
it
had to
Holly?
pronounce him. I think so.
I think it
I
was,
don't know.
uh,
Because she had a student nurse with her, and so she was shadowing, and like she was very tearful during this time, and like was trying to teach, and the student nurse had no connection to Papa, and so she was just kind of there with a very sad, upset family,
Yeah.
right.
and this nurse that was very tearful, and Nana was hugging her and saying thank you and all this stuff, and the
Did-
student nurse just was like awkwardly there.
I don't know how those
Did,
hospice
Yeah, that's
hospice
weird.
nurses
Mhm.
do it. That's
Did Nana call the funeral home, or did the nurse do it?
The nurse did it.
That's what I thought, because I'm like,
The nurse has to.
I was like,
It's
that's
part of
that's
protocol.
part of what they do. Yeah,
gonna
right.
Yeah.
say there'd be no way I'd be able to do that.
No, it's part of
No.
hospice's
know.
protocol. But
Absolutely
if you're not on hospice, then yes, you have to make that call.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because then the funeral home got there, and then I didn't stay in the room when they put him from the bed onto the gurney.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the spare room because like I didn't want to see it. And then Proctor Mark came in.
Chaplain.
Proctor.
Why do you always say proctor?
Proctor's like someone who gives you a
I
test.
don't understand.
Because I think of the witch trials. There was that book
Oh my
about the
goodness.
Salem
Oh,
witch
the Salem
trials.
witch.
The one book he read besides Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
And
Hey, Diary of a
the
Wimpy Kid
priests,
Yeah, it hit.
the priests were called proctors. So like I keep calling them Proctor.
Chaplain.
Because they were like putting people to death because of they thought they were witches, so they're
Yeah.
proctoring it.
But he came in and he put the American flag over Papa when he was on the. I wasn't there to
And
see it. Did
so they put it on him.
they
he
put it on
said-
him before they put him on the gurney?
No, they did. So they moved him from the bed to the gurney,
Okay.
put the boxed tarp on him,
Yep.
and then they laid the American flag over him.
Yeah.
And then he said a prayer.
Yep.
And then they started taking him out.
Because then they transported him, and then that's when we went to breakfast and saw
Brunch.
you, Caleb. Yeah, brunch. That's when we went to brunch and saw you
Oh, at the old restaurant
at,
he
at
worked at.
Bessie's. Yep.
Yeah, you got to serve them.
Yeah.
That was a very
Yeah. How was that experience?
I hugged Nana for the first time ever that day.
Yeah, that's true.
And so actually when you had texted me, I went and told my manager, I said, "Hey, this is the situation." Cuz she was getting ready to cut me,
Mm.
which means in the hospitality industry, for anyone that doesn't know,
Not fired.
She's getting ready to can his ass.
She was getting
It's your
ready-
last table, Dasso.
she was
That's a rough
getting-
last table.
Yeah. No, she was getting ready to like let me go for the day, and I said, "That's fine. I don't want to take any more tables," because at that point I had gotten a text from you that told me what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I had told my manager when I first got there, I was like, "So if I'm not chipper, I'm going through this with my best friend. Like, I may not be there with him, but I'm going through this with my best friend right now.
Right.
Like, I need to be here, and like if he messages me, like,
right.
and so when you texted me that you guys were coming in, I was a little bit in shock.
I think it was Nana's suggestion, actually.
Really?
Well, so it was like your Uncle Scott, he kind of was like, the DME people came in and took all the equipment out. Papa was out, and it
Mhm.
was just like, just us. And like the room was like put back together, and it just felt weird because he had been in there for how long in the
Yeah.
living room.
Right.
And Nana was like, I don't want to be here. And so then Uncle Scott was like, where's a good place we can get brunch? Let's get you out of the house. And then
Mhm.
it was like, oh, let's go to Bessie's. Caleb's working. And
Yeah.
Nana was like, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I told my manager what had happened, and she knew. And I told her, I was like, so my best friend and my best friend, his
And her.
that face though.
When did you transition, Kyle?
Yeah, right.
I told my manager, I said, my best friend and his family, they're coming in. I'd really like to be able to serve them, because she was like coming up with that look. Like when a manager's ready to cut you, they have a look, they have a walk, they have a style
Mm-hmm.
that you just know.
Do you have a style?
Oh yeah.
Is
yeah,
the
if I'm-
sassy style, or the get the shoulders going and hands
I feel
going?
like he has a strut.
Nope. It's actually just like because I know what getting cut is like when you want to
It's like
make
a very
money.
soft.
You're taking
and
money
like,
out of
"Hey,
you're taking
man."
money
You're
out of
taking
someone's
money out of someone's paycheck.
pocket. Yeah,
So it's like I always kind of walk up kind of somberly, right? Like I just kind of,
yeah.
it's that slow walk, like I'm looking around, just kind of like minding my own business, and then
Oh, by the way,
when I get up to the person, I'm just like, you're cut, and then I just turn around and walk away. I do like an about face and just walk away, and go start telling everybody who I
Yeah.
cut.
Get out of here. You're gone.
For some people, because it turned into a joke one day, because I was talking about like how I can't wait to be an old man. Be like, get off my lawn. It's turned into a joke with some people that's what I'll do is I'll get off my clock.
Start waving a cane around.
Yeah. I don't do the get off my clock with a lot of people, because if you happen to forget the L.
Get off my cock.
Yes, that's what I was getting at then.
I should have
Yikes.
said this was funny.
But no, so like my manager had a style, right? And she was walking up to me, and I was like, "Hey, like, look." And she was like, "Okay, how about you just don't take any more tables, but when they come in." And I was like, "Cool, sounds good to me." So, actually serving you guys, like that experience was humbling.
that's when I got Nana to try a mimosa for the first time.
That was her first time.
She
And
got
now
a
she's
couple.
obsessed.
We got a couple. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got a couple of
Because
those.
Scott was driving her.
Yeah, she
Does
wasn't
Does she
driving.
not normally drink at
No.
all?
No, but I told
Well,
her I
She'll
was
drink
like,
wine, but
yeah,
Oh.
and I was hyping her up, and I was like, nah, you just gotta have one. So then I ordered a raspberry one, and she's like, oh, that actually sounds good. And I'm like, get us 5.
yeah.
Nana needs
Yeah.
5.
I,
Just Nana.
I do remember, because like it was like a slow trickle in of you guys. Like you didn't all come at once.
Right.
I don't know who came first actually. I think it was Dad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
want to say
yeah.
Dad was there,
Yep.
and I walked up to Dad, and I think he had Hunter with him,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and like I gave Dad a hug, and again, first time I've ever like hugged Dad,
Right.
and I I guess I didn't apologize. I gave my condolences and everything, and me and Dad actually talked probably for the first and last time nicely to each other.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then when Nana got there, I think you guys came next,
Yeah.
or it was Scott, but I didn't know Scott that well.
It was us next,
Was it you
I
guys
think-
next?
because then Nana and Scott came there after us.
Yeah. All I
Right.
know is
Mhm.
whoever was there next, like I know I gave Nana a hug, and I know I gave you a hug.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of looked at Ashley and did one of those like, hi.
Yeah. Like so.
Well, it felt weird, like in my shoes.
Like I couldn't tell if Ashley was crying on my behalf or because Papa.
I mean, he
But-
was a great guy, and
say
from the
she- I'm
minute
pretty
that
sure she cried for
I
him.
walked in, like
say, 'cause
that
she-
that man opened up his
She knew him
his
like pretty
arms
long.
to
Like,
me.
was it
Right.
2-3 years? 2 years?
Yeah,
2-3.
3.
3.
Kill it.
What?
He was fucking having a seizure on.
Oh, a bug dropped from the ceiling.
Oh.
A box elder
where?
bug.
It was crawling on your laptop and it fell, and now it's seizing out on the TV tray
Where?
behind your laptop.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, kill what?
Oh, it is.
Um,
You're right. It was like
This
season-
Anyways.
episode turned in from hard conversations to death real fast.
Yeah.
Well, because hard conversations kind of
Is death.
revolve around death.
Yeah.
That seems
Yeah.
to be what every conversation is.
Mhm.
And
And it's a topic that can relate to a bunch of people, so
where was I
hopefully this
going with
podcast
this?
helps people
Oh.
get through it.
Like I knew him. He opened his arms very well. I think I don't know when when Kyle was telling him that he was gonna propose to me, and then we came to the house after Kyle like proposed, like the man had the biggest smile on his face, and
Well,
like
yeah, he
I
didn't think Kyle was ever going to get married, and
I
he
didn't think I would
finally
either.
he found someone that said yes to him.
I like
Yeah.
could I
I
could
mean,
feel it like
that's
in my
a feat.
heart that he like generally cared and wanted to hear all about the wedding planning and
Mm-hmm.
what we were gonna do and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember us like setting the date and talking about the venue site, and our wedding date is his birthday. And so just knowing that we got to tell him that we're getting married on his birthday before he passed was pretty special.
And you are doing something to honor him at the wedding, right?
Yep.
Or all the
Yeah.
people
Mhm.
who you guys have important people pass in your guys' lives.
Well, and then Kyle and Nana are doing like a dance for
Yeah.
him
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So then after breakfast, me and Ashley had to go back home
Mm-hmm.
because of Mo.
because of Mocha.
And it
And
was just
then-
it was a long day.
We had to go back to Beloit then, because we had to go to the funeral home.
The next morning.
Was that the next
Yeah.
morning?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, because
Okay.
I remember I was sitting at when I served you guys, right? It was a humbling experience because it was like I knew what you guys were going through in that moment, and I also knew you guys on a personal level, and while there
Right.
was some of that joking going on,
Right.
your dad went right into to giving me shit again, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like it was humbling because it was like I knew what you guys were going through and I knew how hard you guys all pushed to try to, for a lack of a better word, act normal
Right.
in that moment.
Yeah.
Because like it was, you were giving me shit. Your dad was giving me shit. Nana
Nana was giving
giving
you
me
shit.
shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like the fact that you were all able to give me shit and you were able to push through what was truly going on, and I knew what was truly going on, even for you guys to still push through and be that group of people that I loved serving,
Right.
it was awesome. But I remember after brunch, I went up to you and I was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing later today?" Or after this, and you say going home, not doing much, and I said, "You want me to come over?"
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I think Ben, did you go over too, like after work or something?
Yeah, I think I did.
Because I want to say like that night we had a like just a little get together
I think we did. I think you were right
at your
about that.
house.
I'll tell you, it hit 2 o'clock, and I was like, "Okay, it is 10 p.m. Go to sleep."
Yeah.
And like Kyle was asleep, and he just like he looked so peaceful.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the best way to get through something? Being around people who will support you and
But
Yeah.
let me tell
Right.
you, I didn't know what Kyle was doing because he kept turning his phone, and then he would turn it off and set it down, and then he would open it again, type, turn it off, set it down, and I'm like, "What is he doing?" And then I get a notification on my phone that he made a Facebook post, and I was like, "Nope, I'm gonna make mine, and then I'll read yours." I got through maybe 2 sentences, and I was bawling on the couch.
yeah.
Well, I couldn't like. I would type a little bit and I would stop because I didn't want to. Like I was trying to think of the words,
Yeah.
and it was such a hard post to make. So like I'd type like a sentence, take a breather, put my phone down, type another one, take a
Yeah.
breather, put my phone down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
It's
Uh,
just one of those things you kind of want to be in the right state of mind, so you're not so
Right.
Emotional,
emotional about it. Yeah,
but tell
know.
enough.
but tell enough. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not sound too like emotional and like out of whack or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
right. So like that was all. That was the hard thing too.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
will say, like, as far as going back to the serving thing, the hardest thing for me when I served you guys too was honestly, I just wanted to be there with you, for you,
Right.
right? And I couldn't
Because you had to
Yeah.
be professional.
because I had to do my
Mhm.
job, right? Like, and I stood over by you guys a lot more than I would have any other table.
And you
Right.
talked with us and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but like No, it was just one of those things where I just wanted to grab a seat and just sit down with you guys and talk to you guys that way as a
Right.
friend. But I had a job to do still.
Mhm.
So like I still had to serve you guys, which I feel like you guys love to feel. I'm surprised Dad didn't be like, "Let's go, waiter, waiter." Um,
I think it was like just us in there. Was there like
there
another
might have been
table?
one or two other tables. No, but because of the snow, I mean, we were slow, very
Right.
slow.
Hmm.
But I just
So going off of what Caleb, being on the professional side, when you have like a sorrow family going through something, having to tell like a family that this person is like not going to make it out of the hospital is another hard
I was gonna say I
conversation.
don't know what my reaction would be when I actually witnessed the first person during the firefighting or EMS side of
My
things or vehicle accident.
and
What my
I've
first reaction is gonna be when I see the family get told that this family member didn't make it through the accident
But
or
will
something.
you see that?
It I may sometimes it may not be right away, but eventually if I want to rank up or not, I may end up having to actually tell a family if I am becoming a
Right.
captain or something eventually. I don't know if I will or not, but
I've seen, I mean, I was a CNA, but they are peaceful. I mean, I've walked in and seen somebody not breathing and then having to call the nurse, and the nurse does nope.
But to answer your question, Caleb, also, yes, I could see it because if like we're working on the accident and then they rule them dead as we're still extracting the person, if the family member was in that accident that they walked out and they're just standing there watching us, yeah, some people the way they react will be screaming, and so I will see it.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
My first interaction with it, I mean, differently
Hmm.
from the CNA to the social worker side. CNA is, I mean, they go on peacefully. You have the family, but I came in as just the CNA. You clean up the body.
Yeah.
The nurse was mostly in there, or they had hospice, so the hospice took care of that. Or social work down in my internship in the ER. Oh God! So I started in August, September. Oh, maybe November.
Hmm.
It like a trauma one came in, and my supervisor was like, "Ashley, let's go." And I like, you know, you've seen it on TV,
Yeah.
but it's completely different. It's not TV dramatizes it so much. And I like remember walking down the hallway and seeing the ambulance pull into the bay, and they had the chest compression,
Hmm.
the machine going. It
Oh,
wasn't
the
like a
Lucas.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucas. Yep.
And I was like I stopped, like halted hard. And I was like just like speechless. And my supervisor came up and her and I were close. She like was like, "Close your mouth." And I was like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm." And she's like, "You're gonna watch, you're gonna observe, you're gonna learn." And I was like, "Mm-hmm." It's traumatizing.
Yeah,
That
Oh yeah.
thing is beating.
but it's because they
It
actually
really
say that the
pushes,
Lucas
yeah.
does it better than a human because it actually goes deep enough. Because a
Right.
human, like you feel like you don't want to hurt the person, but
The
again,
Lucas
are you really gonna?
fucking
Yeah,
But like
pounds, man.
you could hear it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like it
Because it's like an air strut, and they're just
Yeah.
like do 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 do.
Yeah.
yeah. And
I mean, that thing
I'm like, "Oh my
pushes
God." And then
hard.
there's like, the nurses, there's
Yeah.
the charting one, there's the doctor, there's the trauma code went out. And so you have respiratory, you
Mhm.
have lab, you have x-ray, you have all doctors, nurses, charge
Yeah.
nurses. There's so much happening that I was just take it all in, like learn, take it all, and
Mhm.
listen to this person do this. It was amazing. But the like EMTs were like, we don't know what his name. We have like an estimate name.
Yeah.
We don't know family. Family doesn't know he's
Mhm.
here. Go find him. And so, we hit and we start looking him up and stuff and estimate age, and I pulled up a person and I'm like, "Oh my God." And she like my supervisor looked over my shoulders and she's like, "Yep. Yep, that's him. What number do you have?" And I'm like, "This number." And she's been doing it a long time. It was like, "Hey, so and so's here. We just need you to come.
Mhm.
We'll meet you down like in the ER registration area. We'll watch for you." Okay, cool. Whatever. Hung up. And I'm like, "That's it? You're not going to tell them?" She's like, "No, because we want them to get here safely." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." Um, and then they showed up and sat them in the waiting room. She told me to go get the doctor. And I was like, how do I interrupt like this happening?
Yeah, because there's so many people working on him trying to get
Yes.
him back.
So, I call the doctor's name, call the doctor's name again. He looked and I'm like, family's here? And he's like, great, keep running, 2 minutes. Someone come and get me when I got 60 seconds left. And he came out and it was like, he took off everything, went
Mhm.
down to his scrubs and like sat down. And I was just like, okay, we're sitting down. Like I was like, monkey see, monkey
Was
do.
your supervisor there too at that
Yep.
moment?
Yeah. And so when the doctor was like, he was down, they started, what would you like us to do? And the wife was like, oh, I want to see him. And so he's like, okay. The nurse came out and she's like, 60 seconds. And he's like, I got to go back. I'll see you guys in the room. And so my supervisor like tried as much as you can to like prepare the family to see what's going to
So
happen.
you just like tell him like,
Right.
there's a lot going on. There's doctors doing this too. And there's doctors doing this.
This is why we're doing
Yeah.
it. All this stuff,
just to
the
kind of help their
suction
mind,
noise.
help their mind understand what exactly happening
But
for the coping kind of
when
thing.
they see that, it's a total. You can
Mhm.
tell them all day long what
Yeah.
you want, but
'Cause I know-
they see it.
Because a little bit I've been on, I haven't experienced anything quite
Mhm.
like that yet. So when I experience that, I know the first time it's going to be, what do I
Yes.
do? to
So
help? And-
my supervisor, took her hand, walked her in there, and like all the commotion, and she like, I would say maybe 7 seconds,
yeah.
and the wife was yelling, "Stop, stop!" Like he wouldn't want this. Stop, stop. And so everybody like kind of froze, and the supervisor was like, "Well, you heard her. Let's stop." And then things started getting pulled and turned off, and people started leaving. Like X-rays, like, "Well, we don't need to be here." Respiratories, like, "Nope, we're hands off."
I understand why she don't want to stop, but I mean, as a
It's got to be a hard
medical
choice.
professional or the medical professional, the people in that
Well,
room,
that's the thing.
how do you just like this
So
person's
the doc-
life is in your hands?
The
like,
doctor was like, "You're telling me you want us to stop medical treatment. You want the lupus to stop going. You want me to stop checking his heart rate
Yeah.
and his oxygen rates. If we stop this and we pull all this stuff off, he's going to go. Is that what you want?" And she was like, "Yes, he does. No tubes, no wires, nothing. He did not want this." And that's
Yeah.
why I say it's so important for families to have that conversation
Mhm.
of like, what do you want in a medical crisis?
As hard of a conversation
Right.
it has, it definitely is
I-
one that every family should have, probably.
I don't even think it's the conversation that's hard.
the situation.
I think it's in the moment
Yeah.
and walking in on that and having to say,
Well, because then you
let
wonder.
my family member fucking die.
Well,
But
because
like,
then after
but
the
his
fact,
quality
you
of
wonder.
life.
No, I
Yeah,
get it.
but like, who's to say how normal
Because-
when he came back? How normal?
Right. I
would
mean,
he have
he had
been?
went down and the EMTs were great. They started the lupus right away. They started, oxygen,
Mhm.
high flow to him.
But
They
still,
did, but
your brain's losing blood oxygen
like
circulation.
the lupus broke almost all of his
Yeah.
ribs. His sternum was cracked. He was an 86-year-old male.
Yeah, at that point,
Like,
I mean, if you make that decision, I feel like even afterwards, you gotta wonder if you made the right
it's
choice.
never gonna feel like the
Well,
right
and that's
choice, no
the
matter what
thing.
happens.
Right.
being
Like
down,
even you told
in
him
the
to keep
moment,
going,
she told them
Yeah.
that, but like after the
but
fact,
even if say they
But
kept
it's
going and brought him
harder.
back, and he was living this rough life, then it would have been, oh wait, should I just let him go?
It's
Should I not
harder
let my feelings
because
get in the way?
if
Right.
now he's long-term care. So say, he's intubated, all this stuff. He's not breathing on his own. We don't know his brain function. They do a brain scan and test, and part of his brain is now gone, or he suffered a stroke while he was down. What is the quality of the life? Now
Yeah.
he's hooked up.
Right.
This machine's breathing for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to not be in a hospital setting, let
Yeah.
it be an acute care or a long term, or no nursing home is going to take that. What
Yep.
enjoyment do you get out seeing your family member lay there lifeless but a machine breathing for you?
Yeah, that's true.
right,
Yeah, I get that.
yeah,
But
Plus,
it's just
she
like,
said that they had this conversation. He was a DNR. She
Mm.
said, but in the field he wasn't wearing a bracelet. There was no identification of
Oh,
it.
okay.
So they started it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Nope, we had this conversation. No tubes, no wires. He just wanted to go."
I
was that? Oh no, that wasn't.
No, that was my
last year.
first one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That-
because I remember
that
you
first
came
one-
home.
That first one's always the
Mhm.
roughest, seeing that
I
happen,
went-
right?
Everything calmed down, and the patient's wife left, and my supervisor offered like, hey, if you need somebody, we're here. Always, you can come in. You can always
Yep.
talk to me. All this stuff, and it like stopped. They cleaned up.
Sorry,
They
that's my
started
fault.
Stop
cleaning up
touching
the
your mic,
room.
Ashley.
That was
It wasn't
me.
me.
Oh, was that Ben?
Yeah, I was adjusting. I had to readjust myself because I was uncomfortable.
They
and
We can
started-
touch ours all we want.
Caleb was looking around like he was looking around like there was a bee buzzing him. He's like,
he's just swatting.
They started to clean up the room, and then I just went into the bathroom, and I just like bawled. And then I remember like,
That's
My-
an appropriate response.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
got back to the desk, and I like sat down, and I like took a big deep breath, and my supervisor was like, Ashley, why don't you come in here? And I was like, fuck, we're gonna have to process this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to process this.
But doesn't she also do like counseling and stuff? So it's
Yeah.
like just in her nature
Yeah.
to.
And so I sat down, and she's like, you can close the door. And I'm like, do we have to talk? I don't wanna.
This has turned into a full-on counseling session.
So, I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah.
And then she was like, just go home. I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, see you tomorrow.
What the hell just happened over there?
Ben gave me a fucking stank eye for no reason.
Well, he like turned and looked at me, so I looked at him like.
That's just Ben.
Side eye.
If,
Yeah,
anybody-
like,
if you were
side
watching,
eye.
you just witnessed that. You would just kind of look at me, and I look back at him and go,
Yeah,
But like
I-
the look in his face,
But yeah.
I just feel like the hardness from a family. Like I can't remember who I was talking to. It was my mom or one of my brothers. I was just telling them like, my dad and my mom, and quite frankly, my entire family, needs to put what they want in writing
Mhm.
because at
Do they
this
need to
point-
do a POA?
probably.
Let's do one.
I know someone who can help you with that.
Yeah, I know.
I'll get you the form.
she
If-
that
if-
was
if
her
you're-
first
I have a
first
brother who's an
action she
attorney,
made me
Ashley.
do
Yeah.
was do a fucking POA. I'm
Yes,
like, I'm
I'm not-
27.
No,
I'm surprised you
no,
haven't made me
no,
do
no,
one
no,
yet.
no. Okay, let me clear this up
You're
for
twen-
the no, no,
But
no,
you're
no,
also
no, no, no.
27 in a career as a firefighter.
Listen,
So I
listen,
mean,
listen,
Yeah.
listen, listen,
That's
listen, Lindas. Okay,
You're also old as fuck. 27-year-old.
listen. Healthcare power of attorneys does not mean death. People associate them with death all the time.
it mainly means if like you
At-
go out, right?
At age, listen,
Okay, sorry.
Post death.
at
What?
age,
The SpongeBob episode.
is my this is my career, people. Listen to me.
She spent 4 years of her life learning this.
Yeah, 5.
5,
I
sorry,
was gonna say,
5.
she has a
Um,
master's.
So at age 18, we encourage it. Wisconsin is not a next of kin state. If you are in a hospital, does not matter if you live in Missouri, does not matter if you live in Illinois. If you are in a Wisconsin state hospital, no matter what the hospital is, you are in Wisconsin, you are in the hospital, and you become incapable of making your own medical decisions due to progression of disease, due to an accident, whatever, deemed by 2 medical doctors who evaluate you. That paper lays out if we can ask the person about withholding and withdrawing feeding tubes. If you can go into a nursing home for short-term rehab for an array of things. IV antibiotics that cannot be done at home because they need to be done at a certain amount of time. It talks about organ donation. It goes through everything.
DNR.
Nope, that's a different form.
Oh, is it?
That one is death.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and you can name 2 people that now are your people that are gonna do your medical care.
have a
Ashley fucking
backup?
made me put her
Can
Oh, please.
Can I-
bullshit.
I'm curious. Can I, like, if I wanted, just for shits and giggles, I would
Mhm.
never do it because I don't trust you guys.
Mhm. They don't-
Older.
I'm just
It
kidding. But
doesn't-
can I, like, list you and Kyle as my,
Yes.
my healthcare POs?
Your agents.
But then,
Yes.
like, if you guys cannot come to a decision on if I would want something or not, can I designate Ben as, like, the third vote?
So you just have to number them on there. It requests 2. You can put 1, You can put 2. You can put 3. It's not advised.
What if
So that's why you really need to think about who do you trust in that moment.
what if all 3 of us couldn't come to a
Nobody.
decision?
Well, so
Well, no, I
so
feel like you have 2 options, right? So
just in the fire.
Will you live or let you go?
no,
Huh?
so pretty much it's your first agent. So whoever I see as the first person on there is your first agent. I'm going to call that person and be like, "Hey, I just want to did the doctor talk to you? Yup. Okay, here's the situation. What are we doing? Are we going hospice? Are we going to do rehab? What are we doing?"
Mm.
And then if the first person's like, "Hey, yo, I don't think I can make this decision. I want to withdraw my agent power." It's fine. If they have a second person, then we talk to the second person. "Hey, so and so doesn't think they can make this decision. I'm going to talk to the next person, which is
Yeah.
you."
but I guess my question is more like,
Just because you name 2 people does not mean they have to agree. It's the first person.
I know.
But usually, if you're going to name 2 people, then they should be on the same page of what you want. That's
I'm
why if
just-
you're going to name agents, you're going to have to tell them what you want.
Right.
It's just not a willy-nilly person, Joe
I mean, I was
Schmo.
there to like sign as a witness for Kyle's.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I
It's
just-
a very serious thing.
Yeah. I remember when you brought us there, you were just like, "Hey guys, this is serious."
It is.
But no, I guess yeah. That does answer my question because I like in my mind I'm like, there's 2 people,
Mm-mm.
which means they have to make the decision together, and so
Next of kin, I believe, and I'm not licensed in Illinois, but I think next of kin, I think there has to be like if there's a group of family, they all have to be in agreements, but don't quote me.
See, I can't remember who I was talking about it with, but it was just like my mom said, like even though she would be the one making the decisions for my dad,
It would be a
Um,
family effort.
she was like, I could not make those decisions. In which case, I'm then going to have to refer to you guys.
Hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, well, there's 5 of us. Like, you're going to get each one of our opinions.
And you might all
Like,
agree. You'd be surprised.
We
We've
might
had
all
family.
agree, but we might all disagree too. I mean,
I really don't. My best advice for that is think of the person's quality and comfort of life.
yeah,
It's not,
Well-
do not mix your feelings into it because yes, you might see them and they're still alive, but what is their quality and comfort of life?
no, right, I hear that. I know that you offered, because we need a POA and everything, but you do know I have a brother who is an attorney who has offered to do all this stuff for free for my parents, right?
I suppose. But an
I
attorney
suppose.
makes it more
Yeah, it's fair.
serious
Well,
than
yeah,
a
but
social
my
worker.
my parents are getting to an age where they need to even get a will together and
Mhm.
like they need to get like a POA for not just healthcare but for
Financial,
financial
Yep.
POA too, just in case,
because that'll mess you up too.
Yep.
And word of advice, if you don't have a POA and you want to make medical decisions because the person is not competent, you got to go through guardianship. And
yeah,
that's a long, expensive task.
yeah,
In the courts, they try to make it quick, but it's not quick.
never is.
Nope.
Because the court system's never quick. But
No.
that's
I mean, but there's a lot that needs to go into it.
that's a topic for another episode. I do think we are gonna have to skip the conspiracy of the week.
That's fine.
Yeah.
This
we
was
can
an
talk about the
emotional-
This was a very
mocha
good.
moment. All I want to say first and foremost is, like to end this, is if you've lost somebody, you're not alone.
Nope.
You can reach out to anyone.
Right.
If you need any support or anything, we literally have a licensed social worker.
Yeah.
She'd be gladly to help anybody.
Yes. So
But if you're
Reach out.
in immediate need, call your crisis hotline. They work 24/7, 7 days a week. Does not
Yeah.
matter holiday or not. Call them, or you can call the suicide hotline at 988.
which is now active.
It is
That's awesome.
a full
Mhm.
year.
But Yeah, just know you're not alone if you've lost somebody.
Mhm.
I think we all have.
Right.
Mhm.
And when the going gets tough, push through. I think that's like a key takeaway because,
Rely on your support people.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we talked about that a couple episodes too, is relying on those support people. And
Talked about it in this one.
yeah,
Oh, we talked about in this one how it was the support people affected us specifically.
oh
Mhm.
yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. I mean, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends,
Your coworker, your
coworkers,
supervisor,
yeah,
neighbor.
enemy.
You,
If it's your
you
enemy,
never know.
yeah,
You never know.
you never know.
Everybody has a soft spot.
But
Yep.
yeah, reach out.
Yep.
I think that's the simplest takeaway is reach out. It's never too late. To like, I know for me, um, I've lost touch with a lot of people too, and like,
Yep.
so this bringing this up is kind of like, man, I should call someone, you
Mhm.
know, and
Right.
so never too late to do that.
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
if you've lost somebody recently or you're still going through it, like just know you're not alone and there's people to talk to. Rely on your support system. If you feel like you don't have a support system, um,
We can be your support
yeah,
system.
let
Mhm.
us be your support system. We
If
got
this,
many modes
if
of
this podcast helps one
communication.
person, I am happy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I hope it help. I hope we eventually help more people. But if it helps one person, that's goal accomplished.
Yeah.
One person's life, that's better because
Even if it helps me coming back to it in a year,
yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
That's true.
you know,
Right.
but you know, with that being said, there's many modes of communication. You can feel free to send us a message on Instagram.
At Kindling Conversations.
You can even shoot us a message on TikTok
At Kindling Conversations.
and Facebook.
Kindling convos.
Why was
Or
there
is
a
it-
question mark
Yeah.
in there?
I was trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that was it.
It's either look it
Kindling-
up. Kindling Conversations.
You'll
the
pop up.
Kindling
It's a
dot
pretty
conversations.
it's a pretty unique name. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kindling Conversations podcast too. I
and just
added
so
the
everybody
podcast.
just so
Right.
everybody knows, if you watch our podcast, please watch the whole thing. It helps a lot, and please get a like.
At least
That
for
helps a
60
lot.
Give it
seconds.
a
Let us get
thumbs
that
up.
view
yeah.
captured.
And if you're from Sweden, hola.
Hola.
Spanish.
Oh, that's right.
Why didn't you look up how to say hello in Swedish?
Sweden.
Swedish. Is it Swedish?
Sweden.
Is that how they speak?
I feel like sweet. I don't
Okay,
have my phone.
email
Actually, look it
email
up.
up.
Yeah. Anyways,
Email us so we
feel free
can
to
we can
email.
educate ourselves.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
cultural
Do we
competent.
have our own email?
Yes.
We do. It's
Do we?
Kindling Conversations podcast at gmail.com.
Mm,
Just
okay.
wow. Look at us
So-
go.
And again, just a quick shout out to Joey and Colton
Yeah.
Thank you for the
for-
review.
sending
Ooh,
us
are you guys ready?
a email.
This is goodbye. Oh, hold on. Let me turn it up so everybody can hear. Ready?
One job.
Aja.
Aja from the
Aja.
person from Sweden. Thank
Yep.
you for listening.
That's
Anyways,
goodbye.
I
Aja.
think this has been a great episode of Kindling Conversations. Let's close it out with the Mocha moment.
She hasn't really done much but sleep. Oh,
Yeah.
nope, I lied. I do got something.
Oh, this is a sassy one. Did you see that hand motion? Oh, I got one.
Oh,
I got
Um,
one.
She has these bouts where she doesn't eat or she'll eat at random times. But she's been eating very consistently, and we gave her food, and she just stared at it and barked.
Yeah, she was
And
barking at it
barked.
earlier. She walked in the bedroom and she went, "Arr!" And I was like, Mocha, your food hasn't moved. Eat it. And then she took a couple bites, and then she barked at it again. I'm like, Mocha, you're looking at it,
Oh, God, you're
just
really close
eat
to the camera now. Caleb, you're really close to the camera.
and
I know.
Well, I zoomed in on you, so you were so far back, and now I'm
and
like,
yeah,
no, my mouse isn't
Whoa.
working. There we go.
and then she like kept like taking like
Little nibbles
little
between
nibbles.
barks.
And then sometimes she would grab like a mouthful and then just drop it outside of her food dish. Like, what are you doing?
And I'm not sure she's a crazy dog.
What do you do, Caleb? You like tilt
Okay.
the microphone.
It's weird.
I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like Mocha, but
I appreciate everybody that listened, even if it
If-
was.
Yeah.
If our story made you cry, we're sorry about that.
It made me cry.
I was gonna
So
say
if you're at work listening to this and you start crying, I'm sorry.
and,
Yeah.
uh, and if
I
you're
hope he helps
here
somebody.
because on Facebook you saw Kyle crying,
Are you?
I
Do you
really
think
want to
my?
say something, but
Do you think my man's is hot?
Oh, sorry, Kyle, but I'm definitely clipping that for TikTok.
Oh,
I hate to do it to
absolutely.
you, but
Absolutely. For Facebook too, I think we have to, and Instagram.
Oh,
don't worry.
God.
I'm not talking about my grandpa
It's
too.
okay.
It almost hit me. That's why I kind of
Well-
stopped talking.
Ben,
Well,
Ben's like, yeah, yep.
Ben was like starting
Yep.
to get a little tear, and he was
I
like, "Oh,
did.
fuck this."
My eyes started chirping. I was like, yep, that's it. I'm
Alright,
done.
we're done.
My eyes were closed, so like I couldn't see anyone's reaction. I saw
we
Ashley put her
just
hand
we
out,
just
and then
said-
I started crying more. And I was like, "Fuck!"
Like, wow, they care.
That's what
my people care.
Like,
I'm
how
not a-
dare you show affection?
Emotions are rough for me, so when he did that, I'm just like, okay.
But yeah, if you are here at the podcast because you saw Kyle crying on either Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, just know he is a little bitch in everyday life
Oh
too.
my God.
Man. So it's
I'm
one
just
that has a
kidding.
road, bar. For
Oh
his
my
life.
God, we're done.
Let's
Goodbye. We
wrap this up.
appreciate you.
I'm just messing
you.
with Kyle, just busting his balls.
Thank you to all our listeners. Hopefully, we're up to like 20 listeners by now.
We're probably not. We're probably
I
up to
know.
like 7 still. No, actually, guys, we are at 10.
Oh.
Yeah,
on
let's
our last
go.
episode.
Well,
and
we
one
made 3
and
more.
one international,
So-
right?
I'll have to look into the statistics more.
Well,
but
they better listen again.
we appreciate everyone who listens. Again, hit us up on social media. Send us an email. Ashley will rate your dick pic probably a 10 based on the other stuff she's rated so
Yeah.
far. So
The bar is high, so make it good.
it is horse dick high. So
You just get a bunch of horse cocks now.
anyways, thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next one.
Deuces.
Toodles.
Abba. Is that how you say it? Aja.
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 It's like a jar.
See ya.
Goodbye.